Good morning. Happy Monday. Well, Tuesday, which is when I post this. But today it's Monday for me. Welcome back to another Space for Sunflowers video. And this past week, I should say, because this week is going to be a lot different. This past week I have spent market prepping and living once again in denial with how much I can possibly get ready before the market. But I have 2 markets before the end of the year. I decided not to apply to the 3rd market that I was debating because it's too much. It's too much. It would have meant I would have had a market if I was accepted. It would have meant I would have had a market Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. And hopefully the 2 Wednesday and Saturday markets go well. I just don't have the time between now and then to have enough stock to warrant even applying for another market at this point. So I need to let that go and to finish the rest of this year and then turn my attention to planning for next year. But before I do that, I do need to finish the rest of this year because the amounts of things on my list, you guys, what the heck was I thinking? I mean, we know what I was thinking. I was thinking I'm capable of making 80, I can't math, 80 plushies in like 2 weeks. No, that's not even the case. It was going to be like 60 plushies and 20 hats or 30 hats or whatever. However the maths. It was a lot of things. I'm still working on it, but I have to reprioritize because it's Monday. The video goes out tomorrow, which isn't a deadline of any kind other than I have to stop spewing rambles. I can't word right now. Oh my God. There's so much to do. little bit because that's where we need to be in life right now. So what I have worked on, last weekend was Thanksgiving, which meant I had time off from work, which is great. It also meant I wanted to spend time with family. It was Small Business Saturday. I wanted to head out to a market down at Raleigh Ironworks, which I did. I brought my daughter. I didn't take any footage whatsoever, but it wasn't my market. So I didn't want to, I don't know, just walk around with a camera. I'm not there yet. I haven't embraced an influencer's journey. So that's what it is. But I did see, I went down there because I wanted to get some Christmas shopping done, which I did. And I wanted to support a couple of friends who did have booths at this market. So big shout outs to Sophia from Clever Fox Crochet, who I saw at the market on Saturday. And another big shout out to Christine at What's Up Cupcake Crafts, who I also saw at the market. They both had booths there, two amazing crochet vendors, makers, artists. Yeah, make very different stuff. Sophia has the most beautiful tapestries, crochet like mosaic tapestries you can imagine, very bookish, which is awesome. I did buy something from her booth, but I don't want to go into any detail because it's a gift for somebody. So I doubt that person watches me, but if they do, I'm not going to say anything. And then Christine, of course, I stopped by her booth. I didn't buy anything from her this time. I have bought things from her in the past though. We have one of her amazing Highland cows that my daughter has dubbed Hopeless because that's her sense of humor, but also she loves this thing. She loves it. So Hopeless is named with love. But it's a beautiful Highland cow. And so, yeah, that was great. We also stopped by some other local vendors and purchased some things. We got some, I didn't get the names of everybody that I purchased from. Okay, so the one that I went to go look up that I can't remember didn't put their logo or anything on the package, but it's a dog treats vendor that we stopped by. We got these pumpkin cake pops and they're so cute. Like they look like Christmas cookies. There's a reindeer and there's a gingerbread house and they're adorable. But they're pumpkin and Greek yogurt and no preservatives and they're adorable. And she had all these dog treats and I would love to give her a shout out, but she didn't put her logo on the packaging. So I can't remember who that was. I'm so sorry. And I paid not in cash. I could maybe, no, it's probably just going to say Square. So I'm so sorry to that local vendor. I do not remember their name. But we also stopped by I think it's Flying Pig. I want to say it's Flying Pig. And we got, I'm looking it up now. And we got Toffee, Flying Pig. Toffee. Flying Pig Toffee. It has to be called Flying Pig. It is, yeah. So Flying Pig Candy Company, we got their toffee, we got the peppermint, and the dark chocolate sea salt almond, both of which are amazing. We also got to try a couple of other flavors while we were there. The chocolate espresso, the maple bacon. A little sweet for me because I'm more of a savory, but like it was so good. But they were all amazing. The dark chocolate sea salt almond definitely was my favorite. So that was amazing. We also stopped by YGG Threads, who has very cute custom embroidered gifts and apparel. Also very bookish themed. It was a book fair, an adult book fair was the theme of the market. So lots of bookish vendors, but that was amazing. Stopped by Honey Press Stationery. So yeah, lots of local vendors that we got to check out, which was incredible. Other than that, so that was good. It was nice to be at a market and not be a vendor for once and to just get to walk around and shop and be a customer of other local makers. And it was especially good to do it on Small Business Saturday. I was lamenting not having a market on Small Business Saturday, but in the end, it really felt good to go out and support other local makers on Small Business Saturday instead of myself. So there was still ways I could participate, which was awesome. So that was really great. That was Saturday. Thursday, of course, was spent like eating all of the food. Friday, I did make some things on Friday, but I will say like it wasn't lack of motivation. I was definitely motivated, but for some reason I felt extremely busy. Otherwise, not market prepping, probably because it was a holiday. And like I said, I took off the last couple weekends of November because I wanted to feel present for the holiday. So that was good. We played games, we saw family, we watched movies, we did that sort of stuff. I also did make things. So let's go over the things that I've made real quick, and then we'll probably check in a little bit because, I mean, the list is still listing. I have been working my way from the top down. I've also crossed out and modified some things that either were duplicates that were in my system and I had misrepresented them, or are things that just don't, I feel I have enough stock of. So things like, let's see, that was a duplicate. So my owls, I had to make more owls, but I actually have a whole bunch of owls. Oh, that's a duplicate too. So never mind. So that was a duplicate, that was a duplicate. So the only thing I really crossed off that wasn't a duplicate was the sushi fish that I make, which is so fun. Have yet to sell one of these sushi fish. I haven't found the right buyer for them yet, and I have 4 of them. So I don't think I really need to lean in too heavily on that, given that I have other things like derpy tigers. I want to make a large derpy tiger. I need to make fury dragons, cats, foxes, wolves, my dragons. Things that sell consistently are what I'm prioritizing. I did start at the top, like I said, and I'm working my way down. But as I'm going down, I'm sort of now curating the list based on what sells. Although most of the things on this list are things that sell because it's things that I don't have in stock or I don't have enough stock. So yeah, that's good. I should probably focus on the things that have 0 stock next. So what I'm working on, I have my sharks. I wanted to make 4 sharks for this one. I figured I would split them between the great whites, which are from the Yarning Portal pattern. None of these have their details of like eyes or gills or anything yet. This one's just a body. It's not even got its fins. So still a work in progress on the sharks, but I wanted to have 4 sharks, 2 great whites, 2 whale sharks, because I have noted all year that if I have a shark in a market, it's going to sell. So I wanted to stock up a little bit more on the sharks since they seem to be very popular, and it doesn't really matter which style of shark that I have, both sell. So the great whites are again from the Yarning Portal, and everything will be linked down below. And then the whale shark, which is so cute. I love its big mouth. I love its big mouth. It's so funny. As I try to vamp to to give myself time to look up who makes this pattern. So this is by Crochet by Empanada. Does the whale shark pattern. Both of these are free Instagram patterns. They work up very quickly. I've typically sold them for the same price, even though there is a little bit different size in them, but with the details and everything, honestly, it looks like different size, but at the end of the day, they really are about the same amount of work because the whale shark, you have to crochet. You start in the mouth and you crochet, and then you tuck the mouth, the pink into the body. So if it's extended out, it really is about as long as the great white shark. And then it has the same details in the side fins, the dorsal fin, and then our tail. So that will be cute. I'll make another one of these. I have made the sharks in a bunch of different colors throughout the year. And for this end of year push, I decided to stick with more classic shark colors. So the great whites I did in the grays. I did a variegated gray, just to give it some variety, and then a plain gray. This is also the same variegated color that I use for the wolves that I make. And then for the whale shark, I'm going to use this dappled wandering blue for both of them. I think it works really well. Once you add the white speckles across the body, it looks really good. So I like that color way for that. And then my great white sharks. I also made 4, I don't know why I put my basket down, because now I have this awkward moment in between things where I bend down. I made 4 octos. So I've got 2 big, an orange and a purple, and then 2 smaller, a variegated in that tourmaline color, and green, and green. So this is the 2 smaller, as well as the sharks, are all made in Bernat with a size 5mm hook. For the octos, I do bump up a hook size. So this is a 5 for the body, and then I use a 6 for the tentacles because I like the looser, more bigger, chunkier tentacles, especially since they're not stuffed, so you don't have to worry about the stuffing showing in between gaps, but also they curl. I like how they curl if they're a little bit bigger. Passionate Crafter is the designer behind this pattern. Yeah, so we've got 2 octos, and then the bigger octos, it's the same, same pattern, but I use the big twist, so it's a much chunkier yarn. Even though both of these say that they're super bulky size 6s, this one is a much chunkier yarn than the Bernat, so I bump up to a size 6mm hook for the body, and then I want to say it's a 7. It has a letter K on it. It doesn't have the millimeters, but it's a letter K for the tentacles. And again, they curl nicely. And I have 2 other octos that I had made at a prior market. So I think this is a good variety. So now I'll have a pink variegated, a blue variegated, the tourmaline, which is like a purple, pink and blue variegated, the green, the orange, the purple. I have a wide range of colors of octos, which I'm really happy about. Good. Next up are some, I call them dumpling bunnies. Again, no faces yet, no details, but I did add little cottontails this time with a surface crochet bobble. So I made 4 mini bunnies. Look at the little butt. I love it. I love it. This pattern is from Ayuli Crochets. Another free Instagram pattern. I swear, I do buy patterns. I swear I buy patterns. I don't just use free ones, but amazing free pattern. These were done up in either Bernat Baby Velvet for the white, or I think this is Big Twist Petite Pearl for the brown. It's the same. Both are a weight 4 worsted weight yarn. I did the first bunny, which was this one. It's a little bit bigger, in I want to say this was a 4mm hook, and then realized, no, it wasn't. This is 3.75mm hook, and then realized that I could get it a little bit smaller, a little more tight, and so I dropped down to a 3 to do these. And these are so cute. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to add my keychains to them because they're a little big for an actual keychain, but they work really well for a backpack. I could also put little swings under them and have bunny swings. I might do that. Or I could just leave them. Typically at my markets, I've left them, but I do think that they need a little bit of something because they're so teeny tiny and adorable. And it's just, it's just a little bunny head with their ears. You just sew the ears together. And then I added, the pattern doesn't include the little cottontails, but I added them. I've made them before without the cottontails and they're adorable. And this time I just wanted to play around with what would it be like to put little cottontails on them. This one I did in a marble of, well, not a marble, like a marbling of the 2 colors together because I was running out of the tan. And I was nervous I wasn't going to be able to finish a whole rabbit. So I wanted to, or bunny. So I wanted to make it look intentional that I wanted it to be 2 color. And I think it worked. I liked it. I didn't follow any preconceived plan. I started with the white ear, and then I was like, well, I can do a tip of the other ear and then sort of make it look like it's diagonal. And then I wanted to bring it back around into the front and the back to give it a little interest. Little marble bunny, which I think is really cute. The last thing that I made during all of the holiday, and again, awkward lean, forgive my lean, is more of the finger gliding dragons from, I think, oh my God, this is the one. I'm telling you, every time I'm going to say it wrong. I'm gonna attribute this to the wrong person. It is AR Serendipity Designs. Okay, I'm gonna say I could look it up in my prior videos, but AR Serendipity Designs. I have all of the sizes for these dragons. She also has bats. and other patterns as well. She has a nest that you can add on to include in your dragons. But I made a whole bunch of these. I think I made, gosh, I want to say I made like 9 of them or something insane. I only had 5 on the list, but then once I got it cranking them out, I was ready to go. I'm not gonna lie. So I have a white one, I have a green one with some orange. Again, no eyes yet. Then I wanted to make some that look like Christmas cookies. So again, with that petite pearl, that tan, and then the whites, velvet edges. Plus these are super soft and fluffy. I thought these would be fun for Christmas. So I made little cookie dragons. They're like little sugar cookies with some icing details, ridges down the back. I also went for it with a brown, and I made a couple of gingerbread dragons with buttons instead of ridges down their backs. Again, with those surface crochet baubles, which I think these are fun. I love these for the holidays. So little Christmas cookie, we got sugar cookies, we've got gingerbread. And then I did lean in to making some Fury Dragon inspired ones as well. I had one of these before. It sold almost immediately, putting it out for the markets, because the Fury Dragons, they're recognizable, they're popular. I mean, these little dragons are popular no matter what. I think the cookie versions are going to do especially well this time of the year, but I wanted to make sure I had a couple of Fury Dragon inspired ones as well. And I have a third. I got so done making heads. By the time I got to this one, so let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, I made 9. Well, minus a head, because I started with these on, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday, and I continued making them on Thursday, and then I continued making them on Friday. And then by the time I got down to it, I was like, I am so done making dragon heads, because I started by making all of the bodies, and then I went back to make all of the heads to sort of batch make it. And that worked really well. The bodies work up super fast. The heads work up super fast. It's just the shaping and the smaller yarn and the tension and the smaller hooks and all of that. It's just, I needed a break. I needed to move on to, ironically, I moved on to the bunnies, which was still small, less shaping though. Once you get the ear done, I mean, the ear is a cylinder, you make a ball, well, you connect it, you make one ear, connect it, expand to make the body, and then you just bring it in. So it's not quite as much shaping as the heads, I will say. And this is not a free pattern. This is a paid pattern on Etsy. But the heads, naturally, I usually do some face shaping, but I haven't done any shaping on this. And it just naturally shapes so well, but that means that you're doing increases and decreases and puff stitches and different things to get that shape. And it looks amazing. I love it. But my fingers were done after making 8 heads. So that brings us up to speed with what I have made so far. That is not nearly what I was hoping to have done, especially with some days off. The week is still young. I have until Wednesday. Eyes at the camera, because I'm like, Jen, future Jen judges you. But what I'm going to do today, I still have all of my makes from the week before that I need to tag and inventory. I need to put the face details on the makes that I have so far this week, tag and inventory, and then I'm going to move on to the next round of makes. So that's where we're at. I'm going to finish my whale shark. I'm going to add its buddy, and then I'm going to focus on faces and inventory and tagging, and then I'll do the next round of makes. I also need to, since my next market is indoors in a conference room, single table. I have my folding table up in my living room. I do need to plan out what I am going to bring for that setup. I will be filming that as well, and sharing that hopefully in this video if I get to that today. And yeah, so we'll probably check in a little bit. Okay, so it is now Monday. No, it's not. It's Tuesday. It's now Tuesday. My market is tomorrow, and I'm finally getting around to doing my pre-market prep to see, not the table layout, to see what items I'm packing tonight in my car and how the layout is going to go at tomorrow's market. I have a conference table, I believe, that I don't know if I have one conference table or two conference tables, or somebody gets the conference table and somebody else gets like a pop-up table. I have no idea what the setup is. I just know that I'm sharing a conference room with one other vendor. So I'm trying to determine, using a 6-foot table, what I can bring. Maybe I'll bring a couple of extra things just to make sure that if I can use them, that I have them. But let's go through this. So I have them set up in my living room. Apologies for the terrible lighting. Also, I'm trying not to show too much of the background because you don't need to see that. So I have the table set up. I'm trying to get height is my number one goal with this. So I have my stacking crates. I usually have one facing me, one facing out. This helps bring up height. It also allows me to have space to put my administrative things like, I don't know, paper towels, pegboard hooks, my square reader when it's not out front, my phone, etc. And then a basket up on top. This is very similar to my original market layout. Before I got some more pieces, it all started with these little crates. So I've got my 2 stacked crates. I have them stacked further on a couple more wooden boxes just to get that additional height. And that allows me to put my rotating peg spinner out in front without blocking anything, as well as the mirror. I always like to have the mirror when I have wearables so that people can try them on and see what they look like. Next to that, I have some more boxes stacked, and then a collapsible box stacked on top of that to again create height. And then I have this little round shelf that I had picked up at Target. It was on clearance for I think like $5 or something. So that's good. I like that because it's a nice open space for me to stand, and I can see customers and look them in the eye if I have to be behind the booth. In front of that, I have a couple of baskets tilted up. I use this in my regular market setup. I like to have them, they're tilted up so that people don't have to bend down to see in them. They don't also have to crouch down to reach into them. I'm trying to keep things either pointed eye level or at eye level as much as possible. And this allows me to put, usually I put things like fidget poppers, the ice cream cone, the Creamoo cows, or this could be the hats. I haven't decided yet. I'm not entirely sure what is going to go on with the hats with this setup. We will see. And then I have my collapsible plant stand that I got on Amazon, stacked on top of a couple more boxes that you can see down there. First, I used the biggest ones for stability, and then I added my collapsible crates inside of there so that I can have small items people can pull out, they can search in there, etc. The top 1, 2 are open. I've got this one open for some larger plushies, and then I have my Christmas tree up on top where I can put ornaments, and it can the idea is it's sort of like the tree, and then everything underneath it is sort of like the gifts under the tree. So that's the table setup. I feel pretty good about this setup. Let me see if I can back up enough to show most of it. I feel pretty good about this setup. I also am thinking of getting a couple of standing units, and I'll probably turn around to talk about that. So hold on one second. So a couple of standing units that I'm thinking about adding to this setup. I don't know what the space is going to be, but I'm thinking that I will at least bring my standing pegboard because I don't have the tabletop pegboard And that was a choice. It takes up, it would take up half the table for just the pegboard, and I don't think that there's enough things that will go on that. I don't put the hats and things on it. It's more for keychains. Since I have the tree for my ornaments, and there's only a handful of ornaments, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't lean too hard, but I have some snowflakes, I have some Christmas balls, I have some snow men and women heads as ornaments. So those will be on the Christmas tree. I also have little fairy lights that I will wrap around the tree so it will be lit up tomorrow at the market. And I don't think, so the pegboard, the tabletop pegboard usually has my keychains. I think I'm going to forego the scrunchies because that's what usually goes on the spinning pegs, and put the keychains on the spinning pegs. Originally, that was what that spinning peg unit was for the keychains. So I think I might just go back to that, have a return to form. So that will be good. But what that leaves is the biggest question mark for the hats. Typically at my markets, I put my hats on my standing pegboard. That way I can display them. They're flat, they're at eye level. You can see them really well. I think I'm going to bring that unit, and I can always put it behind the table. I did do that at other markets last year, outdoor markets. I can always put it behind the table, or I'm hoping if I get an end, I can put it just off to the side of the table. Even if it's flat and facing out, that might be what I do so that I can get my standing unit. They did mention in the email that we are allowed to bring shelves, that we don't need to bring any tables. The only way we would need to bring any sort of setup materials is if we have shelves. So that makes me think there may be space. It's very low profile. It's just it's PVC with a pegboard suspended with zip ties. I believe it's zip ties. And then there's feet on it so that it can stand up. I have zip ties. I can always zip tie it to like a leg of a table to give it more stability if I need to. At my outdoor markets, I've been zip tying it to one of the legs of my tent, which has worked out really well. And then I've also put the mirror, I can zip tie to the top of it, so that the hats and the mirror are all together. If I end up using that, I will probably move the mirror there so that it's together. The other thing I was thinking about bringing was a shelving unit. I have two shelving units. I have an accordion style rolling bookcase that I got off of Amazon just a couple months ago. It's one of the newest things in my setup, along with the collapsible plant stand. So I was thinking about bringing that, or I have a smaller shelving unit that is a repurposed, it was a bathroom, a collapsible bathroom stand. So it's pretty low profile as well, and I might consider bringing that. It's what I had been putting my mystery boxes on at my outdoor markets, but I don't plan to bring mystery boxes to this market, simply because I don't think this is the type of event where there's going to be a lot of kids buying things on a whim. It's a holiday market. It's for Christmas shopping. A mystery box, well, would make a great gift. I don't think is the sort of thing that adults would go to for a kid as a gift. I think there's other items in my booth that would make more sense to prioritize space for. So with that said, it sounds like I'm talking myself into leaving the bigger unit home for tomorrow, bring the smaller unit, and that way I can have my standing pegboard for my hats. And I think that's the plan. And even if I don't get to use both of those items, just having one or the other would, I think with that setup, give me enough space to display the things that I want to display. And of course, I'm going to bring my inventory. I can replenish as it goes on. The market is only 3 hours long, so it's going to be a very compact, I'm hoping a very compact, condensed, saturated market. Saturated in terms of sales, I'm hoping. So that's that. Today, I need to edit the video so I can share it out with all of you, as well as price the items that I've made, my list that I made yesterday, my little planner list, which you didn't see me write out, but I did. I'm doing pretty well. It's actually sitting right here so I can reference it. So I had to add all the makes that I had made last week to my inventory, finish the sharks, embroider all the eyes onto all of the makes that I made over the holiday long weekend, which I did, add all of those to my inventory, which I did, and now I've done my table plan. I can check that off my list. I now need to price and pack up all of those makes and then move on to the next things that I'm making, which, to be honest, is going to be limited because I have today and tomorrow. I do have tomorrow, but tomorrow's going to be busy. I mean, it's going to be a busy day. So there's that. Prioritizing. This is going to be my giant derpy that I have been working on. I got Christine, What's Up Cupcake Crafts, to hold aside some derpy eyes for me that she had been painting, and she had these 40s, I think, 40s or 45s, and I was like, I need these because I have been wanting to have a show-stopping derpy, and the only thing that's been stopping me is the lack of eyes. So this will be perfect. As you can see, I've got the body, I've got the head, I've got it attached as of last night, and now he needs, I mean, there's fluff, but he will be cleaned up and ready for market by tomorrow, obviously. His neck is a little bit angular right now because I wanted to make sure it was nice and secure, but I will make sure that that's all good looking and whatnot when he's finished. So today it's going to be the legs, the ears, the tail, and then all of the markings, and he'll be ready for market, and he's going to make a great showstopper, I think. I also want to make some of the smaller size derbies that I have. I have 2 sets of eyes ready to go for those, so I would like to make those, and then my Fury Dragons. And I believe that's the focus of the makes that I'm going to make between now and market, is the bestsellers. Those haven't necessarily been bestsellers, but that's only because I haven't made a ton of them lately. They are the ones along with the sharks, I bring derpy to market, derpy sells. I bring Fury Dragons to market, Fury Dragons sell. So high priority, lots to do. I am going to wrap up this video here, and then you will probably see this outfit again as I continue to film and document all of the things that I'm preparing ahead of tomorrow's market, and then we do it all again on Saturday for my last market of the season at Thrive Motherhood's Fa La La La, Fa La 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 La, Fa La La La, Fa La La, Fa La La Festival at Lafayette Village. So thank you again for hanging out with me. It's been a little bit more chaotic than usual as we really push for the last week of the season for this business, and then I go on a little bit of a hiatus, hoping to pick it up again I mean, the videos will keep coming and the makes will keep on making. I've got so many things planned between now and then, but markets won't be picking up again after this week until February. So I will catch you in the next one. Thank you again so much. Bye.